The market is currently acting like a guy who chugged a Four Loko at 3 a.m. and is convinced he can parkour off a skyscraper because gravity is just a suggestion. You've been told that if you just skipped the $7 latte and hustled harder, you'd be a homeowner by now. But you're looking at your bank account, then looking at the price of a one-bedroom apartment and realizing the numbers don't just not add up, they're actively mocking you. The truth is, you aren't bad with money. You're just trying to play a game of Monopoly where the banker is printing extra $500 bills under the table and giving them to his friends. Welcome to the era of broken math. To understand why you feel like you're losing, we have to look at the nifty 50 era of the 1970s. Back then, investors piled into 50 blue-chip stocks like Kodak and Polaroid, convinced they could never go down. They pushed PE ratios to 42x and higher. Everyone felt like a genius until the inflation spike of 1973 hit. Suddenly, the money printer go brr of that era ran out of ink. The middle class got caught in a lost decade where the stock market went nowhere, but the price of milk and gas went to the moon. We are living through the reboot. Today, it's not Kodak, it's AI and big tech. We've spent the last few years flooding the system with liquidity, and now we're wondering why the price of everything is behaving like a rocket ship with no brakes. Let's talk about the villain of this story, the debasement gap. Since 2020, the M2 money supply, basically the total amount of cash floating around, has exploded by over 35%. When the supply of money grows that fast, your savings don't stay the same. They're being diluted like a glass of whiskey in a rainstorm. Look at the specific math. In the 1970s, the median home price was roughly 2.3 times the median household income. By 2024, that ratio hit over 7 times in most major cities. If you earn $75,000 today, you have less purchasing power for big assets than someone making $30,000 did 30 years ago. The math is broken because the cost of admission to a middle-class life is inflating faster than the value of your time. This brings us to the Magnificent Seven moment. The news says the market is at all-time highs, but that's a hallucination. Just 7 companies account for nearly 30% of the entire S&P 500. If you remove them, the wealth everyone is talking about looks a lot more like a flat line. Central banks bought over 1,000 tons of gold recently. They know the math is broken. They're swapping their paper for real stuff. Meanwhile, you're being told to keep your paper in a savings account earning 4%, while the things you actually need, homes, education, healthcare, are inflating at 8, 10, or 12%. It's like trying to win a race while your shoes are tied together and the guy in first place is on a Ducati. So, if the math is broken, do we just stop playing? No, you just have to change the rules you're playing by. Stop measuring your success in dollars, which can be printed at the click of a button, and start measuring it in assets and time. The future belongs to those who realize that cash is a position but not a strategy. The great correction isn't just about stocks falling, it's about the correction of our expectations. Acknowledge that we are in a high-risk, high-volatility sequel to the 70s. Diversify into things they can't print more of, and stop blaming yourself for a math problem you didn't create. Stay skeptical, stay independent, and for heaven's sake, stay casual. Subscribe for more videos.